the thing about pricing is that the data shows it's not the biggest determinant for why people stay or why they choose to come. So I remind myself of that. Because there's a lot of fear mongering out there that we can't go above $7 and we can't do this and we can't do that. But we also don't want to close our doors.
When we hear that statistic of 1 in 10 cafes close, probably we just blame it on the economy, when what you just shared there, it just sounds like it's more of like a personal choice that, you know, the cafe owner has to make.
It's a balance.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in this crazy macro situation of things we can't control. And I can only speak from my own experience and from what I see in other cafes that share how they do business. But I would say that there are many things that we can control that we're not controlling. So as an example, I put up a post about Payday Super and I had a flood of people really feeling so overwhelmed by it. And I ask them, do you have a COGS tracker? Are you managing this? Are you managing? And they go, oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. So I'm excited and full of hope about encouraging operators, owners to control what they can control in the face of a relentless down pressure. And I don't want to minimize it because I'm experiencing it too. I'm nervous about putting my prices up in my wholesale business. I'm nervous about putting them up in the cafe. I'm nervous about all those things. It's a blessing that I get to talk to people about it because it reminds me to do what I tell other people or encourage other people to do. But
I love it.
Yeah, but I think if I had to I don't know if this will be helpful, but if I had to break it down, I would just say that, action is the antidote to fear. And the main thing that you need to sort out is your numbers. As you mentioned, people are drawn to hospitality not because of the money. They're drawn to it because of the passion for food or coffee or the experiences that light them up as a foodie that they want to recreate for people. I get tingles because the value that hospitality businesses bring to their community. I mean, imagine a town with no cafes, no place to come together. It's so sad. But it generally means that those people are the same as I was, without a business degree, don't know what a profit and loss statement is. I remember my bookkeeper saying to me, I'm reconciling the accounts, and what chart of accounts do you want? I just was like, I'm just going to pretend I know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
So understanding your numbers and getting clarity allows you to make good decisions. And I'm just here to say that if you think you're bad with numbers, if you're not doing anything, you can. Because if I can do it, legitimately, any human can do it, because I thought the exact same thing. We always think, I need more customers or I need to be busier, etc. But the busiest cafes are sometimes the ones hemorrhaging the most amount of like the most amount of money, because your problems compound. Getting your cost of goods in order, that tracking your wages, negotiating your electricity and the overheads that you can control, and then trying to wipe out your debt as quick as possible. Transform most businesses. And you still won't make 20% profit, but you'll beat the average of 2 to 6. And you can get to 10 and you can get to 12. And once you sort that all out, you can optimize.
Great.
And you can get busier and you can do incredible things, and you can go to your next venue and maybe you go to 5 or 10, who knows?
That's cool.
That was a long answer.
No, that's great. I think, look, the advice I would give in regards to, like, how you talked about your bookkeeper saying, all these things, you're like, I don't know what that means, but I'm just going to pretend that I know what that means. Because my mum's an accountant, right?
Oh,
so
she knows the things.
And I don't think there is such thing as a dumb question. So even if you don't know, you should be allowed to ask. And if your accountant laughs at you, get a new accountant, because that's probably not a healthy accountant relationship. to talk about some of the practical things about what you did do. What were those practical things?
Yeah. I just have to say, you just hit on one of the most important things. The shame. Because we think that we should know. And we're embarrassed that we don't, so we don't ask. So when you said the practical thing, the biggest thing I did was admit defeat in my little heart. And I went to my mate who I know has been in the industry for ages and has been in management roles and who had managed costs. And I said, here is my profit and loss. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And I just shared my books. And it's crazy because people don't want to do that. They're scared. And I look at heaps of people's now and I give them the same advice. I say, like, look at these costs, you can do this, you can do that. And that was transformative. I went to another mate of mine, a chef, and I did the same thing. But I had to be so deep down in the trenches before I wanted to admit that my business wasn't so successful, because no one wants to say that. But when they do, they can make real change. So that was the number one thing I did. I got advice from people that know more than me. And if anybody works in the hospitality industry, they know how amazing the people are and they want to help. And if they've got an answer, they'll tell you. So, I ask people now, what are you doing? How are you doing something? Because I want to know if I can do it better. And then I think, so I mentioned those kind of main cost structures, the cost of goods. That basically means what it costs you to sell a cup of coffee. Let's use that as an example. So the cup and the lid and the coffee and the milk and the sugar, right? Let's just in general. So you can't sell one of those cups without the cost. So they scale together. Second one is the wages, which we all know that, but you got to include your super, guys. And then the third one is the fixed cost. So electricity and insurance and rent and blah, blah, blah. The brutal thing about those is they're fixed and can't really reduce those. You can sell 5 cups of coffee or 5,000 and they stay roughly the same. Yeah. Electricity goes up and down, but roughly the same. So I've got some tips about negotiating those, but that's step 3, I would say. And then 4 is debt. So a lot of people start with fit out debt, silver chef debt, and underestimate how that erodes their profits over time. So if I had to start in one place, and I could be wrong, but this is where we started and this is still where I think we can have the most impact, is the cost of goods. Don't get me wrong, I'm a wholesale coffee roaster, so I understand the pressures from the suppliers who are supplying the cafes, but I'm not talking about trying to get the cheapest prices. I'm talking about managing that cost. When I do the numbers on those, it's the paper cuts. So I got a simple tracker. Just so I'll do the how. Simple tracker. You put in every invoice that you order for food and every invoice that you order for coffee that week.
Cool.
Then at the bottom you put in how much you made in coffee and how much you made, and you do one formula and it tells you the percent. You track that for a month and then you start to think, well, what is going on? One of the biggest things I see is holding too much stock. Doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you're a busy cafe owner, you just think to yourself, oh my God, I'm just ordered double the amount so I don't have to do it again. Yeah. But when you do that and you consistently have too much stock, you don't have cash circulating around your biz. And then you also are not able to identify where the real problems are. So if I've only got enough, let's just use eggs again because it's easy. If I've only got enough eggs to use every single day or every week, and I'm consistently running out, I'll be like, but I only sold this many eggs, but there's this much gone. Someone's putting too much on the plate. Or they went off, So, yeah, you've got to first tackle the how to track it. Then you want to make sure you don't hold too much stock. Then we can deal with the paper cuts. And that's basically someone's using too much. You're not getting through it quick enough, and so you're wasting it. Or, yeah. That's probably the 2 main ones. And that doesn't sound like rocket science because it's not. But a business owner will need to have time to actually work on that every single day for the rest of their lives.
By the sounds of it, like if I am interpreting correctly, you're able to even track the wastage.
Yeah.
Which probably a lot of businesses don't do, because how do you put that in a spreadsheet in some cases?
It can be like a bit annoying. I mean, I'm just like a data girl now. If I don't see it, I can't make sense of it.
Yeah.
But I had some friends that I work with now, and they told me, yeah, they don't have a jug rinser, right? So they've got this bottle of milk. It's like, they call it the ugly milk. And on the days that they're not there, the ugly milk is getting filled up twice instead of once. But they did the numbers on one extra bottle of milk over a year. It's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And that'll be happening in every little part of your business. Like some people will have a spreadsheet and they'll just whack in like 2 tomatoes, this, blah, 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 blah. Maybe that's too much work. Maybe it's not. But ultimately, it is mostly where the money goes. And another mate who I work with, who we supply coffee to, he told me his fruit and veg has doubled. So if tracking the wastage on something that's now costing you double the amount is not a priority, then you might not be focusing on the high leverage things.
Wow.
Once you get your cogs in order, then you go for wages. And then you trickle down.
Anything tips on about wages, how you're managing that?
In our cafes at the moment, it's quite stable. So we don't have big kitchen. We don't have a lot of seats. So we don't need to forecast daily. We did do that, but ultimately it didn't drive enough change. So we do weekly. So we just sit down and say, how much do we expect to earn this week and what is our wage cost? It's not really that hard, but most people aren't doing it. What's my other tip? I would say 2 of the biggest things I see, superannuation not being included. It's 12%. So if you think about $1, it's $1.10. If you think about your wage cost being $10,000, it's $11,000. That's pretty wild. So, or 11,000 and a bit. You can tell I'm not good at quick maths, but that's why I need spreadsheets. But I think that's pretty brutal because people have a quarterly bill, which is obviously changing now, but they have a quarterly bill and they think their wage cost is better than it is. And the other thing that I see is people don't include themselves when they work on the floor. That must change. If people took away one thing, that would be it. If you're working in your business, the wage has to be included. I fully understand that if you're at home managing numbers, planning the menu, working on the data, implementing awesome changes, I mean, maybe that's too complex to put that extra hours in. But if you're filling a wage that could be replaced by somebody else and you're tricking yourself to think your wage costs are good, but you're still needed to be there, that's not freedom. That's not going to work. That's going to make you feel like your business is profitable, but it doesn't run when you're not there. So yeah, those are probably the 2 things on that.
There's a lot of like numbers people have to be aware of.
Yeah.
And probably from your perspective, you're both in that cafe space and coffee roasting space. And maybe in that coffee roasting space, you probably understand the numbers a lot more than just the general cafe owner. Where would a cafe owner find these numbers to like consider?
Yes.
Are there resources out there, or should they, be unafraid to ask questions maybe with their roaster, assuming that their roaster knows those details as well?
I mean, I'm obviously biased because our little special place in the market is that we can help our wholesale customers with this. But I do think that's a really good place to start. I mean, we have AI now. Just say, I am a cafe owner and I don't know what costs to focus on. It will probably talk you through it. But I think there are industry benchmarks, which we have resources to onboard for our customers as well. So yeah, I don't know what the resources are other than Internet AI and some advisor, but yeah, most importantly, ask the question. Yeah, we can do such great things if we understand the mechanics of the business. And I think it's pretty cool once you start realizing you don't own a cafe, you own a business, and that every single cafe or hospitality business needs to look at the same costs. And so you're not alone and you're not silly for not knowing, and there is a way forward. And I just always encourage people too, if you hate that kind of thing, get help. Yeah, get help. Oftentimes our team are so much more capable than we give them credit for. And one of the coolest things about business is recognizing strengths in people and then providing an opportunity for them to use something they're good at, because that gives a lot of fulfillment in life, you know. And there is always someone who's like, I can whip out a spreadsheet. Oh, wouldn't mind doing that job.
Yeah.
Or, you know, so, you know, you may be that you close one afternoon to free someone else up to do that thing. But, yeah, there are many different ways. It's just got to start.